Hello, everyone. Welcome to Potter Watch. This YouTube channel is going to be going by a brand new name from now on, Potter Watch. I feel like it goes pretty perfectly with the topics of this channel, which will from now on be mostly Harry Potter with some dissection of brand new movies that come out whenever I choose to see them or am just interested by them and can talk about them. Those will mostly be comedies and dramas, so stuff like that. I'm making this video because I do feel bad that I haven't posted a video in a while. That's been full of content. I am currently working on a Severus Snape in-depth video, which I'm going to be posting once I'm done finished it. And that one is going to have a lot of content for you guys. It might be it's probably going to be longer than the other ones I've done before. So yeah, just be aware of that because I have a lot to say on Severus Snape. He's my favorite character in the entire world of Harry Potter. So without further ado, you might see all of these ads that are up here. They can't seem to go away, but I am in no way being sponsored by any of these Google ads, so just be aware of that. So without further ado, let's get into the Harry Potter books tier list. This was made by Tiermaker. So first up, so we got the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. You guys have probably watched a lot of YouTube videos before on these tier rankings, so you probably know what the drill is. First thing I'm going to do is automatically put Cursed Child into the D tier. If there was like a tier with like a poop emoji on it, I would 100% put it there, but this is as low as I can go. If you guys want me to make a whole nother video on why the Cursed Child is such a bad book and such a bad excuse for a sequel, and that just follows none of the canon that the original series follows, I can make another video on that if you guys want me to. But yeah, Cursed Child just 100% goes into the D tier. Let's start it off from the beginning. Sorcerer's Stone. It's a really good book. I have to admit that. I really like the story. It's actually like a beautiful way to open up an entire series because you do get to really understand the main characters. You get a little hint of what their personalities are like, and you get the story of how the main characters come together. I gotta say, Hagrid is a little bit... I don't really like him in this book all that much. In the other books, he's like this loyal guy who's willing to do anything for everybody else. But in this book, he's really just a massive slip-up. And in itself, he's actually a bit of comedic relief, which I don't like. I think of that as a misuse of Hagrid's character, like himself. But other than that, I really like this book. Severus Snape is introduced very well in the way that you see him, first off, as a really cruel bully who just gives no respect to Neville or Harry, which really sets him up well for the rest of the series, in that you see him as a bully for the rest of the series, and then you have to decide, is his love for Lily a good enough excuse to make up for what he did for Harry? And also, is his hatred for James, who bullied him senselessly throughout his school career, enough to make up for what he did to Harry? I personally do think that he made up for what he did to Harry. So I think it's not that good. It's not like a good book compared to like the other books, which had more content, as you didn't need to be introducing everything as you went along. People just kind of knew and you could set up more stories. So I think I'm going to put this in B tier because it is a good book, but you also have to do a lot of explaining, which kind of takes out of the story. I know. That's kind of the point of an opening book, that you have to explain a lot of stuff, but at the same time, it takes away from the story itself. So that's what I'm going to put it. Chamber of Secrets. I don't really. I mean, I haven't read this book in a long time. I'm currently reading Goblet of Fire. So Chamber of Secrets is it's a good story. I gotta say it has a lot of conveniences that go into it. A lot of things that are just thrown Harry's way to make sure that the story keeps going. It kind of seems like J.K. Rowling was just thinking of ways that she could fill up paper to make a good story, hoping that nobody would actually realize that what she was doing. She was kind of just making excuses to make a story follow along. In that sense, it's a little bit worse than Sorcerer's Stone, so I'm gonna put it in the C tier. It is a good story. However, the story is just brought along in the wrong way. Everything is just brought right to where Harry needs it at the exact time that he needs it. I don't really like stories that go that way. It just takes the fun out of the magic of the story. Prisoner of Azkaban. This is easily my favorite story. This is easily my favorite book. I love Sirius. First of all, Sirius Black is my second favorite character in the entire series. So I love the introduction of him. The plot twist in this book is also a very good one. That I, for one, when reading the book, did not see it for the first time. Did not see it at all. And I also love the introduction of my favorite character, Severus Snape's past and his struggles with these characters, the Marauders, and how they now come to bite back at him, come back to haunt him at Hogwarts, with Sirius Black on the loose, and Remus Lupin is teaching at Hogwarts, let me just say, Remus Lupin is not one of the best. He is the best Defense Against Dark Arts teacher in the entire series. I think it's just a fact, honestly. But other than that, we finally get to see Snape's hatred for the people who treated him badly at school really shine in. We get to see how Snape's past never really leaves him, so to speak. Whatever he is, his past is always going to be there until the day he dies, which is when the Marauders also die as well. And that kind of plays in, that's kind of the message of the Glass Menagerie, that your past never really leaves you, and that shows with this book. So for that, and I also have to say that, what was I going to say? I like this is the first book that really used the element of mystery well. I just want to say that. So for that, I think I'm going to put this in A tier. Also, one more thing about The Prisoner of Azkaban. This book shows that J.K. Rowling could still make an excellent book with the same characters that we know and love from the Harry Potter series in its own independent form without the series around it. So yeah, and that's what I love about it, because the plot of this book isn't about Voldemort, isn't about Harry's prophecy, isn't about how Voldemort's out to get him and rise to power or anything. It's about Harry connecting with his family and his friends and learning more about his parents' past and about the people around him's past. And for that, I'm gonna put it in the A tier. Yeah. So Goblet of Fire it's a really good it's a really good book. It does have a bit of issues with it. Just some small things. First off, the fact that the Triwizard Tournament, which is supposed to be it's supposed to be how do I put this out? It's supposed to be a spectator sport, but it doesn't really do it that well. Most of the tasks that they have that in the Triwizard Tournament, they are done while the audience just has to sit there and wait until people get out. They don't know what's going on down there. Neither does Dumbledore. And that really shines through with the whole in the maze. Like, people weren't watching, like, actually. They were just like hoping and anticipating and waiting in the third task. And you know, even Dumbledore, like, for all the tasks, he didn't really know what was going on. He specifically, the champions were specifically told to send out a flare if they were in trouble, which shows that nobody actually is putting proper supervision into a tournament that was so dangerous that they canceled it for hundreds of years. That's really poor planning, and that's probably the reason why people have gotten killed playing this sport, because nobody's actually paying attention to you. People are just relying on the fact that you'll have enough skill to actually get through, and for that, I think you know, it's just really poor planning on behalf of the people who created the Triwizard Tournament. Also, Voldemort's whole plot in this book is just really poorly executed. He's banking on a Death Eater risking his life to go into Hogwarts, to pose as a teacher, and then to set up this whole elaborate scheme so that Harry could end up in this one place at one specific time. There's just so many parts of this plan that Voldemort sets up that it's like, it's an absolute miracle that it actually worked out. Which I think plays into what was wrong with the Chamber of Secrets, that everything was just thrown into the story so that it would work out, so that Harry winds up in the graveyard, right? It's an absolute, I'm going to say this again, it's an absolute miracle that Harry got into the graveyard to begin with. Voldemort could have done something as easily as, Moody tells Harry to, like, I don't know, go get something for him, like a book from the library, and then he turns that book into a portkey, which would have been way better than banking on him winning the Triwizard Tournament by getting to the cup first. He could have just said, go get this book from the library for me, it's very important and I need it, and then that book is a portkey, which brings him to, of course, the graveyard, which would have been a way better plan. Something like that, you know? So, for that, I think I'm going to put it in probably C tier. Yeah, probably something like that. Let's see. Order of the Phoenix. Actually, no, I'm going to put this in B tier, because it still is a really good book. And it's satisfying the way it plans out. You just have to dig a little bit deeper to be able to, like, really say, hey, that's kind of odd how it all planned out. So yeah, Order of the Phoenix, how do I say this? The entire climax of the book, the main battle, first of all, is not really that interesting to begin with. Well, no, it is interesting, but the climax of the book is completely ruined by the horrible writing that was put into it. Not to say that J.K. Rowling is a horrible writer, but this part of the series, this part of the book, is just so poorly written. it's so drawn out. It takes multiple chapters to actually get to what we're waiting for, which is the battle. The whole part in the book where they're trying to figure out which door to get into to reach the department, to reach the Hall of Prophecies. She describes the process that they do every time they do it, and they do that same process like 5 or 6 times, and that process takes up multiple pages. It's just so boring how she writes it out, and then the fact that all of the students who came with Harry, all of his friends who came to help him out, they all get separated in the end, and it's just complete chaos, and nobody knows what they're doing, and everybody gets injured, and it all just turns into disaster. And that also kind of does show how, they're kids, they don't know what they're doing, they're just going on the mere whim that Harry has. So I gotta say, it actually is good writing in the way of they're just kids and they don't know what they're doing. They're going against highly trained Death Eaters who will stop at nothing to get these kids out of their business. So it is good in that way, but it's just so boring the way she writes it. And the Death Eater who gets the baby head, I mean, that's just really dumb. It's just a horrible idea. But other than that, Umbridge is an amazing villain. She's somebody that we all have an Umbridge in our life, whether it's like a teacher who is just really crappy towards us, or it's a friend who just, or no, not even a friend, it's just like a school bully maybe, who is just so insanely mean towards you. Umbridge is that person that we all have in our lives, right? And it makes her all the more relatable and just a much better villain that we can appreciate as a villain. While the main villain, who is Voldemort, he's just that guy who it's just senseless evil, and he's got this whole scheme built up, and we don't really. I mean, he's not scary, right? You just enjoy the whole plot coming out. But Umbridge, each time I read the Order of the Phoenix, I genuinely am scared for the students who have to endure her class every week. I genuinely feel like I'm trapped in her class every time I read those chapters, and that really sticks with me. So for that, I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. I do realize that the climax is just completely botched by the writing, but the pieces that go into this book, and also the fact that Fred and George have their extravagant goodbye from Hogwarts, beautiful, beautiful. Give them hell from us, Peeves. Fred Weasley. That was an amazing exit. So I'm gonna put him in A. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Half-Blood Prince. While it's not my favorite book, it still is an incredible book. The movie focused a little bit too much on the love drama. While in this case, the book, the love drama is a small part, but it's not the entire plot, which makes sense because the whole point of the love drama in this book is just meant to show that these kids are normal kids. They may be fighting good and evil. They may be fighting evil all day, every day, but they still do fall in love, and they go through all that drama and stuff, and it makes you relate to the kids more. When you read this part of the series, that they just fall in love and everything's happy. Well, not happy, but everything's they're dating and then they get angry at each other and yada yada yada. And we all experience that in school. I mean, you're just lying if you don't experience that in school. Everybody does. Also, Voldemort's past and the whole pensieve and the relationship building between Harry and Dumbledore is so beautifully done, and it's really dramatic moments in the book. And then the introduction of the Horcruxes is an amazing segue into the rest of the series, which is really just one book, but still. And stuff like that. It's a very good book, and it also shows that it's the beginning of a new series, in that it mirrors the format of the Sorcerer's Stone, which was the beginning of the actual series. If you want me to do a video on that, I can totally do that. Yeah. So for that, I'm gonna put it in S tier. It's easily the most beautifully done book in the entire series. And also, may I just say, Dumbledore's funeral, my god, amazing. Absolutely incredible. Alright, Deathly Hallows, sorry. It's a good book. I gotta say, I like that it's one long book, whereas the movies are split in two pieces, because the beginning of this book is, not the beginning, but like the middle beginning-ish, you know what I'm talking about. It's so boring. They're just going through endless woods. There's a bit of action, stuff like that, but that doesn't really hide the fact that it's boring. It's just a process. And I mean, J.K. Rowling did a very good job on, just writing this, in that she's making you understand it's just a process. It's part of the book, stuff like that. The ending of the book, very beautifully written. The part where Harry buries the Elder Wand with Dumbledore, in the hopes that nobody ever finds it, or in the hopes that nobody ever disarms him again in his entire life, which is so highly unlikely that it's basically poor writing and a plot hole. I didn't really like that part. But, yeah. I'm going to put this into... Let's put this in B tier. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, that makes sense. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you all, let me know if you agree with this. If you don't, please make sure to, you can DM me if you want, or you can also email me, or you can just, best possible scenario, you guys would just discuss. You guys can just discuss this in the comment section, and I can also put in some input if you want. So yeah. What else was I gonna say? I will hopefully be putting out another video soon. Hope you guys aren't all driving, going crazy. My mind and my resilience to this whole situation is slowly starting to deteriorate as of this morning. I went to class and I just couldn't handle it at all. So yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for today. Alright, I will see you guys later. Bye.